Well, good morning, everybody. It's a nice sunny morning here on the farm, and Jim is getting a nice early start. He's getting some lumber stacked up and ready to go to his lumber market. And I thought we would go in and show you what takes place in the morning as we get ready for the day. We've got a lot of horses that are going to be worked today. And we'll just show you what William and I usually do in the barn in the morning while Jim's doing other things. Oh my goodness! Skippy! He might have been in it.
It might have been.
Yeah.
Very top of that log.
That's hilarious. So here's William, hard at work already. Got the water tub going. And William, if you want to water him, I will start brushing.
Okay.
So Jim's going to come through and clean the barns. So my first order of business this morning is this dirty horse. Bill went out yesterday and rolled in the mud. So we got work to do this morning. Okay, well that job is done. He's still got some spots on him that are hard to get, and he is not being super cooperative around his neck, but I think he looks a lot better. William's working on Lady, who will probably go out for a little bit of exercise today. He's still got lots of dust, but he's a lot better.
Okay.
So sometimes we have to play musical stalls because we don't have enough, and Duke and Bree usually go out unless Duke's working. So they're going out, and then William is going to move Earl to Duke's spot so that we can move Ken in from the box stall, which is behind those doors right there. So he can, because he's going to be working today. And Earl is going to be working too. Yesterday, Bree was out with Lady and Ken, which was unusual, the first time that combination has been out. And Bree did not seem to enjoy herself being out, even though it was her mom. That bond is not there anymore, really. And she just wanted to get back in with Duke, really. So Ken is getting a drink, and then he's going to his stall. And it looks like he could use a good brushing, too. And Skippy got locked out. We'll have to let him in. We are on our way out to the area that Jim is working on with brush clearing. William is going to get a couple loads of firewood with Lady and Ken this morning. He's already been busy working in the sawmill, and Jim just let us know he's ready for some firewood to be loaded up. Lady, of course, is our Belgian mare, who is due to foal in June. Ken is our Percheron gelding, and he has been with us a long time. He's probably about 16. I'm not really sure. We don't do a very good job of keeping up with the birth dates.
Except for Bree, she'll be one in May on the 27th.
Hi everybody, so what we're doing today is hauling some of these logs, these firewood logs, home. So I've still got, I think, three more trees out where I've been cutting. If you guys have been watching our videos, last couple videos now, we've shown a little bit about this pasture improvement job that we're doing. And it's going quite well. I'm just about done with what I'm going to work on for this spring because it's getting into, it'll be spring work time very soon. There might be a little bit more I'll do, but basically it's done. So I want to get this wood out of here and we'll be cutting it up. So this wood off to where the excavator is all cut up into various lengths, all different lengths, but it should work fine to be able to load on the wagon. And we've got a second wagon down on the farm, so we'll get loaded up. William will run a load down, and I just remember to forget to have him get a ratchet strap, but that's okay. We're not going to haul huge loads. We'll throw a load on, he can run it down, just drop it off and grab the other wagon and come back and hitch it, you know, come back in the load. So at the end of the video, I want to talk a little bit about what makes a great horseman. Now, that may be kind of an odd comment, but I want you guys to ponder it a little bit while I'm loading this firewood trees up, and then I will talk about it at the end of the video.
Jim just told William it'd be fine just to hold their head so he doesn't get a chance of getting hit by the logs. Safety first.
Okay, so William's ready to head out with his first load. So go ahead and just pull the pin, you know where to put it, and come back with the other wagon.
So if you have watched thus far in the video, thank you. We have a lot of faithful watchers, and we really appreciate that. But I just wanted to take this opportunity to ask you something. I have noticed lately, Jim is very good about when he inviting people to things and asking them. And I have a friend also that is very good about inviting people. And I've noticed that when people are invited, then they're more likely to come. So I wanted to ask all of you again, if you have not subscribed to our channel, if you would consider doing it. I also wanted to take this moment to really thank our faithful viewers, because they are so good sticking with us all this time. But if you have not subscribed, I'm just asking if you would check and see if you are subscribed. And the reason is because you don't miss videos when they come out if you are subscribed. And click the little bell. One load done. On to the next.
Careful step. Hey, hey. Back. Hey, a little bit. Back. Hey.
Good job, William.
Yeah.
And horses. You're pretty good at that. So one thing that we've noticed is that, or people have mentioned that they're being unsubscribed. We don't know why, but we did look it up, and that sometimes they do that. it happens, it's a glitch or something. So if you enjoy our videos and want to see the content, can you make sure you're subscribed and tap the bell if you want to know when the next video is coming out. Okay, that's enough of that. Back to working horses. What do you think, William? Is spring here?
Feels like it.
Yep, it could be it. We don't know.
Yeah, I know. You don't know if it's gonna get cold again or not.
Nope.
Enough mud for spring.
What's that?
Enough mud here for spring.
Yes, there is enough mud for spring right here.
Yeah. Gives them a little workout.
Yes, it does. Yep. It's not fun walking through mud. So do you hope it's spring?
I kind of hope it's spring, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I would be ready for spring.
Even though you didn't get all the ice made you wanted to get made?
Yeah, but I think I got approximately enough.
Oh, good. I didn't mention it before, but Jim has Bill and Baron out here, and what they have been doing is pulling the tree length trees up to this area from further down, but I think he's about done with that. But it looks like they're doing good. They're a little excited about the other horses going by. Bill loves his lady. Well, Baron loves her. Baron loves her too. But anyways, they're both being good. It's amazing how they act when they have their work harnesses on. Good boy.
Go ahead, head on down, do that, and I'll be down.
Yeah. There's one you want just parked behind the other one.
Yeah, so drive right up to the other one's horses and kind of swing out there and then pull the pin. Okay, good. Actually, I was going. I was stupid. I was actually going to tell you just to pull the pin here and you go down because I could load it up and then I could bring it down with my horses. But,
yeah.
oh well, that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Hey, high step. Oh. Oh. Okay, so I just have a few more trees left in here. And there's one little one there, and might be two over there, I'm not sure. But then I got this bigger ash tree right here. And these trees are with the tops all on, like I've been doing in this clearing job that I have. It's surprising how hard a tree, even a small tree, pulls with the whole tops and all the limbs on. But what's hardest about it is judging how hard it's going to pull. It's very difficult to judge it. So this tree here is the biggest tree in here, and because of bearing especially, I'm not going to take a chance and attempt to pull this whole tree. Although I could, I'm sure, pull it down the hill a ways, but then I got to go either up that hill or over this other hill here. It doesn't matter. I still feel that this tree is a little bit too much for them. So I'm going to cut it in half. Just don't want to take the chance with a young horse like him. Back here. Careful, huh? Oh. A little bit. Oh. Oh. Hip. Hip. Oh. Feel a bit. Oh. Jeek. Jeek. Oh. Bye. Oh. 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 Hey. Nice out. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yep. I've got several piles scattered around, so it's really nice because I can pull the different tops to different piles. And then sometimes I cut them right when I do it, and sometimes I just kind of spread them around to oh. Yeah. Yep. Ha. 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 Oh. Ha. 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 Oh. Oh. Okay, I wanted to, told you I'd talk to you about what makes a good horseman or a great horseman. That sounds like, I bet some of you guys actually decided to find out what I said just to see if I would say that I'm a great horseman. I am not saying that in any shape or form. And besides, I'm not one to, I shouldn't be the one to say if I'm a good or great horseman. That's for other people to say, not myself. But we all strive to be a great horseman. A lot of times when we're talking about horses and using horses, you know, there's a lot of things that make a great horseman. And I'm just going to list a few of the things that I kind of have in the back of my head if I can remember them. You know, one of the biggest things to be a great horseman is to be able to handle criticism and to be able to handle people telling you you can't do it, or that's a stupid thing to do, you know. So I think, and I see a lot of horsemen that have a confidence about them. It may even come off as an arrogance about them. So they may have this seemingly arrogance about them, but it doesn't mean they have an arrogance. It's just that they're confident. They're very confident. And it's so necessary when you're dealing with horses and to dealing with the situation we're in today's world to be quite confident and very somewhat sure of yourself as you go about your work. If we go through life with the, you know, not being able to be confident, the first time people tell you, oh, you can't do that, you're just going to quit. You have to have that hard-headedness to a degree. You have to be able to deal with those things that people are going to throw at you. I don't know how many times over the years I've heard people say to me, well, just get rid of the horses and get a skidder, or get rid of the horses and get a tractor to do your work. Well, that can be a little discouraging at times, and if you're not a person with confidence, you can just give up and actually do what they suggest and get a skidder and get a tractor. More than likely, you're not going to succeed with them either because you don't have that confidence to be able to go through what you're doing to be able to get that job done. So if you were starting out with horses, one of the things I've kind of seems to be working good and bad both for me when people ask me this question. They say, do you think I can make it in the horse logging business, or do you think I can make it in the horse farming business? And one of the things I've been thinking I might tell everybody that asks me that is no, because I don't think you've got what it takes. In some ways that's a terrible thing to say, I realize that, but if I don't say it to you, someone else is going to say it to you. And if you quit because I said you can't do it, I could praise you up and say, oh, you're a great horseman, you can do this, and you don't succeed. Well, you spent all that time trying, and it was a big waste of time because someone's going to come along and say you can't do this. So it might just well be me that tells you can't do it, to get it over fast enough and go on to something else. I realize that it is so important that when people start out in a business, there's got to be people there that encourage them and teach them things. And I want to do that, don't get me wrong. But there are, and there will be people, I guarantee you, that are going to tell you, you can't do this. You'll never make it. You won't survive. You'll lose your shirt, blah, 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 blah. So, I guess, to be a great horseman, you have to have the confidence that you can do it. And that comes with time. It's going to take a while. Now, another thing you have to be able to do is accept failure, because I don't care who you are, you're going to fail in some parts of the process. And you're going to learn more from those failures than you will from any times that you've succeeded. At least you should learn more from them. And if you're not, there again, you're not going to succeed. You've got to learn how to deal with failure. Many different ways to deal with that. I'm not going into that, but you have to figure out some way to deal with failure, because it's going to happen. So some of the other things I'm thinking about as I go through this, my thoughts on being a great horseman. You have to have a ton of patience. When you're dealing with horses, you got to accept that they're horses. Accept the fact that they can't totally understand what you're saying in English or in whatever language you're talking. You know, that communication between you and your horses has to be built up over time, and it takes patience. I've got a 4-year-old in Barron, and he is doing so good, but he is a long ways from being a totally trained horse. There's so much more he has to learn, so much more we have to learn together to communicate, and I've got to be so patient with him in the process. So there's another big thing, patience. Another thing you have to do is be, don't tell me I got it. No, I don't. What's the word to be doing things on a regular basis, a timely fashion?
Consistent.
Well, consistent, but there's another word even. But the consistent, that's a good word too. You have to be consistent in what you do. Whether you're feeding your horses, you have to be consistent when you do them. You can't feed them at 5 o'clock in the morning for a week and then go to 7 o'clock in the morning for a week and then go back to 5. You have to be consistent. When you're training their horses, not even training, just working, you're training horses all your life. If you go into the horse logging business or horse farming business, you are going to be training horses all of your life. So when you're doing it, you have to be consistent. Consistent saying the same things to them when you want them to go. Consistent to say the same when you go left or right or back. It doesn't matter what you say. What's important is you're consistent. You just continue doing the same thing so they get used to it. They get that communication between you and the horse is so important. You've got to be consistent. Another thing about being a great horseman is you really have to have that real strong desire to be a great horseman. And you have to have a real love for horses too. If you go in horse logging or horse farming for the money and not for the horses to start with, you're pretty good chance not gonna last very long. You have to have that really love for the horses, that's what I want to do. And it's something that you just have to put in your head right to start with, that, you know, and as I think back, that's probably the biggest thing about being a great horseman, that love for the horses, to be able to have, you know, the time and to be able to spend with the horses that you are going to have to spend with them to make it right. As I think here, there's still some other things I'm popping in my head here and now. You know, you've got to work your horses to be a great horseman. You cannot be a great horseman and have them sit in the barn. They've got to work. And you'll never get a really good, back on the logging end of things, never get a really good pulling horse unless you really put the time and effort into them to grow those muscles and to put it in their heads that they can pull anything you ask them to pull. And that's so important. So all these principles I'm talking about here are great and so important to be a great horseman, but they're also so important to be no matter what you are in life. You know, you could be a doctor or a lawyer, a dentist, you could be a mechanic at a garage, you could be a janitor at your school. Everything that I've been talking about is so important for any occupation that you jump into. What am I missing, Brenda?
It's a way of life.
Yes, it's definitely a way of life that you have to put in your mind that that's what you want to do. You know, you're not going to go into the horse logging business and get rich. You can be, there's times where it's very profitable in the horse logging business. You get a particular lot that does really good. It's great. In my opinion, there's more money in the horse logging business than there is in the horse farming business. But there's guys out there that do a high-end vegetable farming that probably make really good money. So there's money to be made there. But you're still probably not going to get rich. You go get wealthy in other ways. Some of the things that you do, you can't put a monetary value on it. It's just so incredibly nice, you know, the lifestyle that you're living, that it puts you wealthy, even though you're not necessarily bringing in all the monetary value that you would maybe hope for. But you have to be able, whether it's in the horse farming or horse logging, to be economically feasible. How do you like that word?
Proud.
For me. Anyways, you need to be able to make money at what you're doing. Now, there's tons of different ways to do it, and we can go into that in some other time. But for that doesn't make you a good horseman. That does not. That's just kind of puts you in the situation you're in. But to be a good horseman, it's more these other things. Also, never quit learning. To be a good horseman, you have to always be learning. You know, there's so many people that would teach you, and you can learn from the worst ones out there. If nothing else, you can learn what not to do. So that's a learning thing right there too, what not to do. So there's so many other things I could probably tell you about. And sometimes, this has nothing to do with that, but sometimes I'd like to share more stories with you, because I do have a lot of stories that over the years have happened to me with horses I'd like to share. So anyways, that's going to conclude our video for today. I do hope you enjoyed it. And I do want to make it very clear though, even though this is a video about being a great horseman, I don't want you guys to think that I'm arrogant and I think I'm a great horseman. That's not for me to say. And I don't need or even want all you guys in the comments to say I'm a great horseman. I don't want that. I'm just trying to share some of the things that I feel it takes to make a great horseman, and I'm still striving, and I need to continually tell me those things, you know, continually tell me myself those things so that I become a better horseman. That's all I'm striving to do, to become a better horseman. So you guys have a great day. Hope you guys subscribe to the channel and like it if you do like it, and we shall see you next time.